it's like, you know you're a hot mess, but I feel like being a hot mess, I can't even describe the hot mess that has been posting these videos. But I had some time to be able to get a video out. I have some big news. I can't really share it until the end of the month, but it's gonna be a change. It's gonna be an expansion, child. But as you know, whenever I disappear for long, unexplainable periods of time, first of all, you can always find me on Reiki Healing Hope. So you can always stop by there, chat. You can really always find me on Patreon. Yes, but I always come bearing gifts. So I got a new deck. It's only funny because it's like when your parents don't come and they try to buy your love with gifts. I have a new deck. I'm being a Disneyland dad in this moment. Okay, so I have a new deck, and it is now my new favorite deck. Just every new deck I get, I'm like, it's my favorite deck now. So we are going to do a quick card pull. We're going to channel to see if there's anything specifically we needed to talk about. But yes, shout out to this deck. It is called Fortune Queens, a Drag Race Tarot deck. Oh, baby. The girls are out, okay? The girls are out. Oh, it's so good. Like, oh, okay. So let's actually jump into the video in the card pull and get some stuff done. So as we start off, we channel. Thank you, universe. Thank you, energy. Thank you all for the highest vibrational good. Only we are bringing forth the messages for you to be able to bring messages of wealth, health, love, abundance, happiness, peace, and all that beautiful stuff. Please bring forth the spirit guides, ancestors, lineage, all that is appropriate for you to be able to receive these messages. We are so grateful, universe. We thank you for everything, and we receive the message, and please send it in clear and concise ways, because you know we hard-headed. Ashe. Okay, first card that's coming up. You're not about to tell me this ain't bad, okay? You're not about to tell me this deck ain't bad. Let me go ahead and give you that right there. So we have the Knight of Pentacles. You are on this new journey of making money. Do you see this? This is like, oh, sorry. It is I know, I'm sorry, I'm doing it. It is oh my gosh. It's iconic scenes from Drag Race and reimagined in the Rider-Waite deck. Oh, Lord. Jumping back into why you're actually here. Sorry. I'm going to put their information in the description box. The deck came from Mexico. It is literally one of the best quality decks and the biggest freaking deck I've ever had. Like, it's okay. God, I'm sorry. I'm jumping back in, I promise. Anyway, so you have this Knight of Pentacles. And so this Knight of Pentacles is giving this energy of you starting this new path to your finances. So that could mean you are changing something, changing a way that you're making your money, or changing a perspective, or wanting to go on a new course of action of how you make your money. And money ultimately comes down to what makes you feel secure. So that sense of security is what's changing. And you have recently made this kind of like aha epiphany moment. Let me pull in this aha epiphany moment where you're like, okay, like this is what I need to do. Like, this is how I need to do it. So there's that. Your next card. Oh, I love this. The Hanged Man. Oh my gosh, this bitch is bad. Yes, anyway. So the Hanged Man. So this is sending off the energy that right now you are being asked, or to get to the goal of what we're talking about over here, you have to be uncomfortable, but the discomfort that you feel is not something that is deadly or hurtful. And I think in the past you might have misconstrued that and thought that like, oh, because I feel uncomfortable about X, Y, and Z, it means something bad. No, it just means like discipline. When you really want something, you got to work for it. It's uncomfortable at times. It's uncomfortable when you start a business and the money doesn't flow. It's uncomfortable if you are trying to get a promotion at work and it just never comes. It's uncomfortable when you're trying to learn something new and you just feel like you don't get the information. It's uncomfortable when you're trying to find the one and you just can't, you just keep missing. It's uncomfortable when you're trying to work on your health and it almost seems like every step you take forward, you take 2 steps back. But just knowing that this discipline is a part of the process and it's a very normal process. Don't feel bad or weird about it. Next card we have here is Judgment. So know that whatever you do at the end of this time of this great change, again, Saturn is still in Aquarius and Saturn feels good in Capricorn and Aquarius. So the last 2-3 years we've had that Saturn and Capricorn energy. Now we have that Saturn and Aquarius energy. Saturn is the planet of discipline. Capricorn is the sign of discipline. And Aquarius is the sign of the revolution, which requires a lot of discipline for someone to step out of the status quo and do something. It's like, it is the sign of self-study. It is the sign of technology. That revolution is that sign of electricity, all of that stuff. So what you do each and every day towards where it is you want to go, which is specifically this new way, is going to be judged at the end. And not judging like someone's just trying to judge you and tell you're not great, but more of like, at the end of the day, if you don't reach the goal in the way that you think you're going to reach it, meaning maybe you missed the mark, but you're not quite there, but you knew, oh, if I had taken this more serious, I would have made it. You're going to know beforehand. And if you not only make your goal, but get to like a much farther advanced side, the judgment works even in a more amplified way, to the point where it's like, wow, this was my goal, but dang, this actually opened up so much more than I could ever fathom. Yes, honey, the tea, no shade. So let's go ahead and get some more insight. So I have this deck right now. I'm loving it so much. Do you see that? It's rose gold gilded edges. Tell me it ain't so. Y'all wish y'all could. I'm just kidding. Sorry. I was getting very aggressive there. I wish I could. Y'all wish y'all could. Okay. You got 2 more cards here. And so your 2 cards are the Fool and the 3 of Cups. So with the Fool card, I was actually talking to Repocus about this because I was talking to her about something and she's like, she does this all the time. We'll be in the middle of a conversation and she just, all I hear is, what is she doing? And she'll be shuffling cards and she'll say like, oh, when you said this is what came up. And I'm just like, just give me advice. Like, you don't have to do all that. But I love that she's like, I pulled the Fool card. And then I was just like, oh, because the way I perceive Fool might be different. And she was like, yeah, when I see the Fool card, it just makes me feel like you're about to have a good time. You're about to go on an adventure. You're about to be like, yeah, let's just do it. Like, you don't have, like, you've released your inhibitions. You don't have anything that's hindering you. You're going out there. And the way that I view the Fool card is more of the perspective of like, if there's any time to jump, leap, or make a change, it's now. Because that naivete, that naiveness, you being naive is really what's going to save you. Because if you really sat and thought it out, or if you had kind of like that analysis paralysis of something, you're probably not going to do it. But this is a wonderful journey and direction that you're going in, and just you having that youthful energy of like, I don't give a fuck, I'm about to try it, that's going to serve you really well. And so I think in general we probably had the same interpretation, but she was just so hyped when she said it. I was like, why are you so hyped? So that's that. Okay, your next card is the 3 of Cups. And the Three of Cups really kind of represents your besties, your crew, or it can be symbolic of having everything aligned and in the right order that you need for things to work out. So you might notice that like family and work and hobbies are aligning, or three specific people, it can be yourself included in a certain area. You just are going to feel really supported. And if there's an area that you feel more supported, like, wow, I feel really supported here, but I feel really shitty everywhere else, lean into that area that you feel supported, because that is where I already put the card up. That's where the Knight of Pentacles is really going to shine. It's really going to be given an opportunity. Okay. For those who went to college, or we could use school. How about we use grade school? So for like grade school, like, K or 1 or preschool or whatever you start with, all the way to like 12th grade or whatever you ended with, when you look back on it as an adult, or I'll say for myself, when I looked back at it as an adult, I realized how easy it really was. All you had to do was literally read things and regurgitate the information and just make sure you present it in the way that your teacher liked. And even if you didn't get it like a perfect score, I learned later on you could hustle these teachers. All you gotta do is show initiative and be like, can I do this? Can I do that? Da-da-da-da-da-da. You do that so much, the next time you get a grade, they're just automatically going to give you a better grade anyway. So when I look back at it now, I'm like, wow, it was really simple. It just really was simple. But in the moment, I felt like, wow, I got to figure out my life. What do I want to do next? The things I'm doing now really needs to build into my life. And then, you know what? I'm a grown-ass adult and I pivot all the time, and it's okay. I pivot and learn new stuff all the time. So this card is sending the message that when you have that protection of being a student, or you have that protection of maybe actually having support somewhere, really utilize that. Life isn't always about the struggle of like something being difficult and like, oh, there are naysayers. Sometimes the hardest thing about life is just being consistent. So can you imagine you have to be consistent and you have naysayers, as opposed to you're supported, but it's just like now you got to work on yourself and hold yourself accountable and be consistent. So lean into that area of your life that really allows you to do that and just allows you to enjoy it. I was thinking recently about like musicians, because music has for a long time been something that I never really understood. Not because I don't like music or I'm not musically inclined. I'm very musically inclined. But what I never understood is that what makes someone technically good and makes somebody a mainstream success, it's very different. Technically good, you're great at, some technique, something or whatever. But mainstream good, you have people buy into a certain feeling. And a lot of times that feeling can be based off of marketing, like people who actually have a big machine behind them. But other times when people just have like maybe a few connections, but they just have like this wave about them, like they don't necessarily have to be the best at anything, but they just are so in the zone, or they have someone within their team, a producer, connection, PR person, who is just so in the zone that like it really extends well to them. And so I say all of that to say is you want to get to a point where whatever you're doing in life, you are in the zone. You're not worried about no other random shit. You're not trying to convince anyone or anything of anything. Like you're like, hey, I know God, universe, source, whatever you want to call it. I know that I've been here to... They spilling the tea in the reading too. I know that God, universe, source, whatever you want to call it, has a purpose for me, and the purpose is not limited to the sight of other people. And the same thing, I don't feel like how I see someone is the full expansion of who they truly are, and because of that, I just need to chase whatever my purpose is, whatever makes me whole and makes me enough and makes me feel like I'm really doing the greatest good in this world. And once you catch that vibe and you figure out how to get your money too, so that you're not stressed out about it, look, I'm telling you, just like next level, like amazing things will start to pop up for you. But as long as you have to fight things too, and it's normal, conflicts happen, but like you feel like you're fighting for just the right to live your life as you are, it's going to feel like a disconnect. So find your community, find your places of safety, and really expand, water yourself in there. So we have the King of Wands, okay? The King of Wands is like, you got to be a master of all your actions. You cannot be afraid to, Eight of Pentacles, work hard. Work hard at what you want. I said, find that area where you feel safe and work towards it. And then you have your Six of Swords. You got to make peace with your demons. You got to make peace with your insecurities. You got to understand that it is okay to not have to be this perfect looking person who has this certain body or has this certain education, comes from this certain place, makes this certain amount of money, has to like this certain kind of thing. Like, just really make peace with those inner demons and just let them be. Like, don't even get mad at yourself for having emotional reactions to it. Just be like, you know what? Not feeling good. I'm going to be patient and loving towards myself today. And really just continue to go on your path, whatever that path is. And then you have this lovely Nine of Pentacles. And this really made me think of my grandma, because she loved two things. She loved Betty Boop, as I talked to you before, who was crafted after a Black woman. She loved Betty Boop, and she loved Tweety Bird. And this just gave me so much life and love. So the way and how you get your money, you should love it. You should love the flow. It doesn't mean you don't have a hobby or career in which maybe you don't, your money doesn't come from that. Maybe your money comes from somewhere else. Maybe you got a sponsor. You know, why not be a sugar baby if you maybe you have a sponsor? Who doesn't want a sponsor? And it can literally be like a sponsor, like you are in a fellows program or something like that. Like, less of the, having to be someone's company, or maybe you give people, you're like a professional hugger. It's a thing. But just be at peace and feel like you are in your flow with the way that you make your money. And then the next thing of the Ten of Wands, meaning like, get to work, hit the ground running. Just make sure that your actions, you're actually harvesting this thing. And it is a very big thing that you want to do. It's much bigger than your current reality. So there's going to be a lot of shifts, but just because there's a lot of shifts doesn't mean you should be intimidated. And then the Six of Pentacles. Yes, baby. Yes. Look at that. There's some dollars here. Okay. And so understanding when to give and when to take. You can't take all the time, and you can't just be over giving. You have to be able to be receptive. So when the universe throws you a bone, pick that motherfucker up and walk. Okay, like, take it. Sometimes the universe will bless you and our pride will be like, well, I don't want it that way, or I want it this way. Fuck that. Just get your coins, boo. That's all you got to worry about. That's it. That's simple to the point. And I'm going to let you see it because I really want you to get this point here. You don't know if they're giving the money or taking the money, but you know that the reverse action has happened. So everything in life is a balance. It really doesn't matter if you're, the one who is in that moment giving or taking. The only thing that really matters is that those lanes of communication are open and balanced. Death, which is my favorite card. In general, whenever I get this reading, and when I pull this card, and the reason why is because it means you're at the end of a karmic cycle somewhere and you're moving on to something else. Okay. And this is a huge signifier that it's like, it's time to move on, time to let go. Just let it be. Move on. Then you have the Five of Wands. So don't confuse competition with conflict, because if you do not show up and really make these boss moves, you're going to perceive what's happening around you as conflict. But if you make these boss moves, you do what you need to do, it then becomes this healthy competition of you learning and other people are learning and you are learning together. So this can be a very tragic scene where people are beating each other's ass, or it can be a scene in which everyone is practicing and learning together. Just depends on where you're at. And then you have the Wheel of Fortune. This is a particular time in your life where you're very lucky. So as long as you stay disciplined, patient, persistent and just be okay with your emotions, your internal world, and be at peace with yourself, as long as you stay at the course of what you want, you're going to get there. But as easily as you can do that, meaning like simply said, it's always harder to do. If you kind of give way to these old ways of being, these old ways of doing things, this stuff that should be dead, you could lose this golden opportunity and this golden ticket. And so that's really what's coming up now. So I'm going to pull one more card to just leave you with something, leave you with this, leave you with that, leave you with this, leave you with that, leave you with this, leave you with that. Okay, I will take you and I will put you back because we already saw you. And is that me being ridiculous? It is. Because sometimes the universe will just reiterate the same message. And I'm like, I want a new card. And then the universe is like, you're a dumb broad. I'm just going to let you shuffle these cards, waste my time, and give you the same card. Okay. Let's see. The Six of Cups. Get in where you fit in, baby. That's it. Goodbye. See you next time. Get in where you fit in. I'm gonna let you see this. Don't be afraid to be unique. Don't be afraid to be an individual. Don't be afraid to show up in the space. And don't be afraid to not give a fuck sometimes and just be like, I'm here. I'm queer. I am queer. But just don't be afraid to be like, I'm here. And just let it be. Be yourself. That's really what the message is here. The message isn't overwhelming. Be yourself. And that's the key to anything. Even the goals that you want right now, the thing that's coming up in your life, it's all just this simulation and this exercise of the soul and the physical body to just learn how to be comfortable, learn how to be yourself, and learn how to be comfortable with yourself. And the best way to learn how to be comfortable with yourself is to be in a stressed situation. Life happens, have a goal or something like that, and show up for yourself. It's that simple and that's clear. So again, like the Disneyland dad I've been, I did come back with bearing gifts, but yes, a lot of changes happening. But anyway, so if you want to learn more about mysticism, or if you actually want to be a part of my Reiki Master Teacher cohort, I started a new cohort in August. More information to come out in May. You can learn more at my website, ReikiHealingHope.com. You can go to Patreon, where I teach lessons, and we have a community, and we check in, and we just have all that fun stuff. If you want to take an action now, or you can be a part of my cohort, in which I go into depth of readings and channeling and stuff like this, like cards. This is just a sticky note, but cards, it's just one way of channeling. There's many ways of channeling, and you may feel or think that you're really into cards, tarot, or something like that. You might find out that you're actually much more skilled in another area, and so that's something that I touch in my course. Yes, I'm a Reiki Master Teacher, but I always encourage everyone to go past that lineage and to explore and to combine and to live the damn life, because you just gotta be you. I try to be me, just a black girl being happy in the world, a black woman being happy in the world. But just, just being me. Why not? I, for a long time, was the only person in my friendship group, besides my actual family, who kind of talked about these things. But you cared more about your peers. You wanted to chill with your peers. And Refocus is old, so me and her was not chilling at that time. We hang hard now, but at that time she was a grown up, and so she's gonna tease her next time I see her. But I, for the longest time, was the only person in my circle who talked about metaphysics, talked about mysticism, even before I understood the language or really how to or perceive things, or like learning the history and having the really in-depth conversations about like, you know, where does a lineage come from? You know, what stuff is just like culty stuff and made up stuff? What part of it is cultural appropriation? Like all of these just various things. What are the different things we can do? How can we manifest? How can we channel these beautiful abilities in us? I was the only person for a long time. And I wouldn't say that I felt embarrassed about it. I would say that I felt like, okay, I just, you know, it's like I wanted to talk to other people, but I knew I couldn't talk to people in front of me because it's like literally we're speaking the same language. And then I just started speaking another language and they're like, but let me tell you, baby, okay, for years I would talk about, yeah, y'all gonna be playing around with this Mercury in retrograde. And now Mercury in retrograde is such a mainstream thing that like someone quoted it the other day and I was like, I know your mother was like lying. Because 10 years ago, y'all thought I was crazy like 15 years ago, y'all thought I was crazy when I was saying this. I was your hippie friend. And I'm all for like conscious living and upcycling and stuff like that, but I'm not really that hippie. I'm not really that earthy. I'm earthy in energy, but like when you look at me every day, I just look like a regular everyday person. And I realized that because I was interested in these subjects, I know like here it is, we're talking, we're like dishing, but because I was interested in these subjects, I was instantly being like pocketed and labeled as something where I didn't always fit in those certain things. Not because people weren't welcoming, but some stuff I just didn't care about. I was like, I don't care about this. I'm already a black person. I don't need someone to explain to me this. I'm already gay. I already know how to talk to people of color. Like, and I'm not saying that to say that we all can't learn, you know, have a moment of empathy and conversation and stuff like that. But just the experience of being a person with different intersections and just being an individual who likes different stuff. And just sometimes you're talking to people who are just literally mentally, maybe the age is similar, but mentally they're just in a different generation than you. And so you're trying to be like, look, we don't got to follow all these rules. We just got to follow our heart and follow whatever God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, has for us to do. So, you know, be yourself. That's the theory of the story. Well, I'll see you next time and love you. Bye. Catch you on Reiki Healing Hope.